Hey everyone, welcome to the 2024 edition of my home gym. If you watched the 2023 edition, it really hasn't changed much, which is a really good thing. I've been using my home gym for about 3 times a week on average still since I've been getting it. I have taken a couple weeks off because I did do some travel to South Korea as well as Japan. But I'm going to show you my rack, a couple of things I do have. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I will link them in the description as we go through. There's no affiliate links, I'm not selling anything. This is just my own personal opinion. As I talked about last year, this is the Pritchett Pad, which is great. I usually have it off of my rack because it's just a little bit easier, provides a little bit more space, but is a really great addition for anybody that is wanting to do chest supported rows, T-bar rows, those type of things. And it is really nice to take on and off because it does have this little handle here. It is not light by any means, but it is easy to put on and off as long as you're kind of looking at what you're doing here. My trusty camera lady is back there doing a great job. This is a really nice addition, but I'm going to take it off just to show you the rack a little bit easier. Most of the time I just set it over here in the corner and it just sits there perfectly. I do have a couple attachments for the Pritchett Pad. This one I use the most just because it's more of like a traditional T-bar row. And then I also do have this one as well. This one is really nice. It does have a lot of good stuff, but it does hit the Pritchett Pad as you go top if you're being a little bit aggressive. As you can tell here, I do have the weight horns on there, and they really do provide very nice storage for the rack. The next thing I'll talk about over here is the Ohio Power Bar, which I love. This is one of my only bars. And if you come close here and you can kind of see, this is the knurling still from 3 years of use. It has a little bit of wear and tear. Also too, if you look at the sleeves here, a little bit of wear and tear, but to be honest, they're really nice, especially with the Strength Co plates. And they fit on there perfectly. It is just a really nice bar. I would buy again for sure. This is the stainless steel bar with the chrome shafts, just in case you were wondering. And I did put this up here to store it just because it's a lot easier. I have the Darko anchor, but with my setup here with the air conditioning, etc., it doesn't really work with the way I am. These, of course, are the spotters, safety spotters. They're super easy to go up and down. This is over 3 years of use. My rack is a little bit marked up because of them, but honestly, it is not a big deal because you're supposed to be using this rack. Next thing I'll talk about is my Strength Co plates, which I have an individual reviews on most of these things, but you could see 3 years of use. They're really, really nice. I love them because they're all very, very close to being the same in style, and I like the texture on top. One of the other things that I probably will do an updated video on is the Monolift 2.0s. Talked about this before, but there is a bolt that comes right in here when you originally get them that stops it from going out so far. However, I took the bolt out so they can swing out a little bit farther, and it is really, really nice. I do have the J-Cups 2.0s right here that I haven't used since I've gotten these. These are just that good, and I really do like them a lot, but I can't really find myself to sell them because there's really no issue. If you want to take these on and off, they can slide up and down if you want, and they're really easy to put on and off your rack. If you want to buy something for your rack that makes it just very versatile, that if you're like me, lifts by yourself and wants a lot of safety and don't want to have to do the walkout or anything, these are well worth the price. This, and of course the these straps are probably well worth it as well. If I come over here on this side of the rack, I'm going to show you just the dip station that I have. This is the Matador, the original Monster Light, which can work on the Monster rack, but I just have it set up here because it's just out of the way. It's really nice. I do have the attachment here so I can store it very, very easily. I have been thinking about getting the UDA for the smaller handles or the grips here. So sometimes when I do a lot of dips, it does hurt my wrist a little bit, and it'd be nice to have the little bit of extra flexibility. But this has been a staple in my routine. It has been really, really nice. Just have a couple other storage things here, a couple straps. And then here's another thing that I decided to do. I got the Spud straps up here, and I did put my stainless steel pull-up bar here, but as you can tell, I cannot do pull-ups on here. But these Spud Inc straps really, really work well if you want to do knee ups, those type of things. And then the storage solution that I have here is just some of those pins there that I put in here, that I just put it right up there and right out of the way. As you can tell, I try to take and maximize the space on my rack. If you look back here at the back, this is one of the best purchases. If you're going to get one or two things, this would be one of the things here. The Powerblocks. These are the USA Elites, up to 90 pounds. Really nice, really easy to change the weights. Up, put the pin out, slide it out, change the weights. If I want to change the weight inside, you just have to open here. The adder weights are inside. Close it, put it back in there, slide the pin back in, and voila, you have another weight. This is really great. This is the Powerblock stand as well. It is mostly plastic, but over 3 years of use, I haven't had any issues with that. Here's another accessory that I did get, which is the squat wedges. These are really great for front squats, as well as any type of auxiliary thing, like when I come down here and I use my pad here for Bulgarian split squats. This really helps there. And also it gets me in a good position when I do the front squats. These things though are very bulky and burly. Anything that Rogue makes, as you know, is very over the top. If I had to do it over again, would I get these bulky burly ones? Probably not. I would just buy the normal ones and kind of go from there. But they really work, and you can put them up on the rack if you want. My newest addition is the step. Honestly, this is probably one of the funniest ones I got. I was using this when I was back at home in my parents' house, and I really like it for calf raises or those type of things. So I put it down here, hold some dumbbells, and I use it for calf raises. That's honestly for really kind of what I use it for. And then I also use it behind you, which I'll show you in a second, for deadlift RDLs, because I put the two extensions on here and it gets me up off of the ground a little bit better. But this is kind of one of those funny purchases that I have. And then if we come over here on this side, let me just pull over the bench real quick. So this is the Rogue AB 3.0. It is a little bit tough as far as moving it around sometimes. It is a little bit heavy, but the adjustment is really nice. It's really easy. It's got a lot of good positions. It is a beast. I think it's around $500, $600. This is something that I would definitely spend the money on. This is a great option. The only negative to this one is the pad width here. The pad width is about 11.5 inches. And if you get, let's just say, the Blackwing or the other one that Rogue makes, it is 12 inches. It's not a Thompson fat pad either. So if you want it just for benching and you have a bigger style shoulders, it is not as comfortable. It doesn't give you as much stability, but it's really, really a great bench for me. It works awesome. So we come over on this side, just got a couple accessories. So I got 2 belts. I got the Rogue belt here, but it is not actually, the Rogue belt is Pioneer. And then the same thing here, which I talked about this in one of my other videos. This is really just for travel when I go to my parents' house because it is super light. This one's great, the lever style, but it's super heavy. It's just not really a joy to use. Of course, I got the bands. Talked about this in one of my videos. The jack stand for using the Rogue Pritchett pad to prop it up on. Next one here is the GHD, which I've had this for over a year now. I really do like it. I like it for back extensions, GHDs. I don't do as many GHD sit-ups on here as much, but this is probably one of those ones that you could go either way. If you could use it a lot or use it a little bit, it does take up a significant amount of space. I've been thinking about potentially selling it and getting more of like a leg extension because the programming I'm doing, which would be work out a little bit better, but I just like this so much for posterior chain, core, those type of things that I just don't know if I'll get rid of it because I honestly do find that if I don't do back extensions on this a couple times a week, that over time, my back actually starts hurting a little bit. So it just tells me that this is working. So if you have any type of back problems or whatever, this is a great machine to strengthen it, strengthen the posterior. It's really, really nice. And then I have one of the medicine balls, 14 pounds here. I honestly don't use it very much, but it's here. If I need to do Russian twists or whatever. And then I did get these 2 foam Ply Boxes, which I really do like. I use them for step-ups and a couple other things. They're really nice. I used to do hip thrusters with it, but I don't do it very much. It's really a great height for that, and they're foam. So if you're ever doing any type of plyometrics or anything like that, you do not have to worry about missing and really hurting your leg. If we come over here to the FTX, I did a review on this and I talked extensively about it. I really do like this machine. There are a couple downsides, of course, like I talked about with the weight stacks not necessarily holding there. And honestly, if I could do it again, I would probably get the version that has the Smith bar, just because there's a couple other exercises that I do miss. And I could do calf raises a little bit easier. I could do Bulgarian split squats a little bit easier. I could do a couple other things with the extra flexibility. The height does not make any difference to me on here. And the bench, while that's great, as I talked about in the video, it is low to the ground. So sometimes that is not great, especially if you're trying to do any type of pressing movement, because it is so low to the ground and it's just hard to get this either where you're at. And then the included attachments that come with it are really nice. They're great quality. This little straps here, also the rope that I have here. This is nice, but I'm not a huge fan of this because this moves around. That's why I get the Rogue strap and a couple other ones that work really, really well. I have 2 more items, which we're going to get to in 1 second. So there's a couple items here. You know, I have the Rogue Deadlift Platform. I got the tiles on Facebook Marketplace, so that made it affordable to get it. If it didn't have that, I probably would just make my own. It's a really nice unit though. It's really, really great. This here, I got about a year ago. And to be honest, this is one of those things that you don't need until you get one. It's just really, really nice. I deadlift at least once a week, if not twice, usually just once on average. And it makes taking the weights off of the bar just a breeze. This here, take it off, come over here, take the weights off, put the weights on, and return. I'm telling you, it does take up some space. You know, it's not like the smallest item or it's foldable or anything like that. But man, it is just super, super nice. You don't have to get the Rogue Fitness one. That is the Rogue one. Titan makes some other ones. Rep makes some other ones. There's other brands, but if you get a full jack, you'll be thanking your lucky stars that you didn't get the single jack on the side. It does work, the single jack, but this is just super convenient. It's a nice to have, definitely not a necessary. And then, of course, I haven't talked about this too much, but this is the Texas Deadlift Bar, the Cerakote, I believe that's how you say it, in the blue. This is about 2.5, 3 years of use. And clean up the knurling there. It is super nice. It just has just enough grip. It doesn't look like it's fairly aggressive at all, but to be honest, when you're using it, it works great. So this is a nice to have as well. I could still use the Ohio Power Bar if I really wanted to for deadlift, but this is nice to have a dedicated setup, and I'm fortunate enough to have a dedicated setup for this and to have the space. Lastly, in this section, I talked about this a little bit last year. I do have the Neo bike, which I haven't used it as much this year as I have in previous years because I have been lifting. And you know, the majority of the program that I'm doing is powerlifting style, those type of things, to where I'm just trying to stay active and fit. I'm not going for bodybuilding or breaking any records. I'm really just working on my own wellness and, you know, working on some muscles, of course, but that is not the main thing for me. And I do use all this equipment a couple times a week, if not 3 times a week. And it's been a really, really nice thing for me. Lastly, which I won't necessarily show it over there, but I do have the Rogue Jammer Bar, which is great because I do pull-ups once a week and I do dips once a week. Those are my 2 main exercises when I do any type of program. So with that, this is my gym. It has not changed hardly at all. I bought the stepper, which is like $15. And then I bought the Rogue Deadlift Jack, the big one that works great, especially if you deadlift a lot. It's kind of a pain to store, but it is really nice if you have a dedicated space. I would recommend that for sure. So if you have any questions at all, just let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And if you want a full review on anything as well, please let me know. I'll be doing some more in 2025. And I'm just looking forward to continuing the journey and working out. So thank you again for joining me, and have a great New Year, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks again.